Thank you. First of all, I just want to say I'm so glad it's over, and it was an incredible result in the end to secure mine and daughter's future and that of all the charities that I obviously plan on helping and making a difference with, because you know that's been my life for 20 years. Obviously the courts do not want a litigant in person to do well. It's against everything that they ever wish. So when they write the judgment up, they're never going to try and make it look in my favour. But all of you that researched know that it was always going to be a figure between 20 and 30 million. Paul was offering a lot less than that, which you'll see in the judgment, and very much last minute. To put me and Beatrice sadly through this has been incredibly sad. So we're very, very, very pleased. And what I'd like to say, being a campaigning girl, is anybody wanting to go through a divorce, try your hardest, man or woman, to settle it immediately. But if you're in an impossible situation, which anybody listening will know that, you know, people don't see eye to eye, things get out of hand. You can be a litigant in person. It's not easy, but just make sure you do all your research, save yourself a fortune. Mishcon wanted to charge me an extra £600,000 just to do this trial, you know, which could quite easily go to charity. And I agreed before the FDR to let them go if they didn't win at the final dispute resolution, which they didn't. It was an amicable parting. We'd planned it for months, whatever you read. And I'm still, you know, very good friends with Anthony Julius that I very much respect. But he was dealing with an impossible side. Fiona Shackleton is very sadly handled this case in the worst manner you can ever imagine. She has called me many names before even meeting me when I was in a wheelchair. And so I recommend do it yourself, be a litigant in person, you know, the power of one. The law courts do not want me to say this. And the only reason I'm coming out, to be honest, if the judgment had been sealed today to remain private, I actually wouldn't be standing here, because we have a gagging order on us not to reveal marital confidences. That was something Paul really wanted to be put into this. So I wouldn't be standing here. But I'm basically standing here because Paul is insistent on the whole judgment being put out. I've said if the whole judgment goes out, then all the transcripts have to go out, because it's going to be written in a way that they will try and make it look like I wasn't successful. But all in all, we came out with nearly 25 million. I know you want to know the figure. I'm allowed to say this because this is a summary. Yeah, the only reason I'm appealing the judgment tomorrow morning, which I'm going to, because I've got my daughter, I'm going to get somebody else to do because I'm exhausted from all of this, is because the judgment involves private, secure matters of my daughter, where she goes to school, you know, what she does, everything about her is in there. And they didn't even do a redacted version to keep Beatrice out of it. So it's gone against everything to do with human rights, the Section 6, it's gone against everything to do with the confidentiality papers, it's gone against everything to do with the private family matters. They tried to compare it with a case called Sorrell versus Sorrell. There are no young children in that case. There is in this. When you go into court, and this is where it's very important, they've actually started to set a precedence that we lose our right to privacy when we step in a family court by doing this, actually making the judgment full. Because normally you go into court and you're expected complete privacy in a family court. 2 days into the hearing, they threw up, oh, well, maybe we can compare it to Sorrell versus Sorrell. And I was like, well, why would you need to do that? This is private. And they said, well, we'll let you know at the end of trial. So they give me no chance to not go to trial. They already had planned. The judge had his whole judgment statement written up before we even did our submissions. He just read it out. So he'd already decided that he was going to do this. These people are in a club. It's like they want to stay together and they don't want to see a litigant in person doing well. but he could not award me and my daughter such a low sum because it was actually impossible.
Can you tell us what the sum was?
The sum, right, I'll read it to you.
No, sorry, the sum that he offered
Oh,
you
so
that you
Paul
wouldn't take.
offered me, I'll have to go back to it because it's been a while.
15.8.
So Paul offered me 15.8, all in, including properties, and we got 24.5. I don't remember the figures because the most
Including
important thing.
properties.
Yes, the most important thing for me was just to get this over and done with.
You said you're appeal against the judgment, though.
I'm not appealing against the judgment,
Right.
no, not at all, because it's not worth it.
Appealing
It's very. I'm appealing against the publication of it because it has so many details of me and my daughter in it. It will be published, so that's why we're appealing. It has a stay on it until the appeal tomorrow, but this summary will come out today. And I'll read the summary to you. He proposed 15.8, and the judge decided that I should get 23.7, it says. And then what they wanted to do was, because I'd spent money on security, they do a thing called add back, because they say me and my daughter don't need security. £35,000 a year, and so she obviously is meant to travel B class while her father travels A class, but obviously I will pay for that. And he, not at all. It was the lawyers that I've said with, they were not getting anywhere near this figure in the FGR. They couldn't get anywhere near it. There was no more evidence. Apparently we didn't live together until the day we were married, and the judge believed that, even though I'm registered at Westminster Council, living with Paul since the 29th of March 2000. And even though many of you were outside Cavendish Avenue in July when we announced our engagement. So a lot of strange things have been going on behind the scenes. I obviously had all the evidence to prove we were cohabitated, lived together. It's been followed by the world media, and no, I don't regret representing myself. I'm just glad it's over, and I hope this is reported fairly and balanced. And
Are you happy with the actual outcome,
I
the
am
financial
so happy with it.
What are your feelings towards the Paul?
I've got no comment. Imagine about my daughter.
Just that.
Yeah, and also what the judge also said, as well as saying we never lived together, he also said that Paul is only worth 400 million. And that is what he said he believes him to be worth. Everybody knows he's been worth 800 for the last 15 years. So we know that has been, and I wasn't allowed any access into any of our accounts, nothing. I wasn't allowed to look at what we spent, where we went. I was locked out of every home.